Hi, I'm Shannon Gavin Johnson, the director of Legacy Museum on Main, and this is a brief moment in LaGrange's history. Just 100 years ago, women across the nation were protesting their inability to vote in national elections. Although some states allowed property-owning women to vote as early as 1776, the issue of women's suffrage first received national attention in 1848 at the Seneca Falls Convention in Seneca Falls, New York. The convention was organized by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretia Mott, who were abolitionists and believed their best hope of ending the practice of slavery was to give women the vote. By the 1880s, a surge of volunteerism among middle-class women created a determination to expand their activities outside the home, which legitimized the suffrage movement. Letter campaigns and parades were used to gain attention on a state-by-state basis and were often combined with other issues such as temperance. This was especially true in the southern states. By 1916, Alice Paul had grown impatient with the slow pace of change and helped form the National Women's Party, a radical group focused solely on the passage of a national suffrage amendment. Paul relentlessly attacked the Democratic administration of President Woodrow Wilson for obstructing the extension of the vote to women. In 1917, over 200 women were arrested while picketing the White House. 33 ladies were given prison sentences, and many went on hunger strikes. The publicity was very damaging to Wilson, who was attempting to build a reputation for himself and the nation as an international human rights leader. The United States' participation in World War I increased national support for women's suffrage and the 19th Amendment. Suffrage leaders embraced Wilson's mission of making the world safe for democracy to strengthen their own cause, maintaining that the efforts ought to begin at home by extending the voting rights to women. In 1918, Wilson finally spoke to Congress in favor of passing the 19th Amendment, reasoning that the country's and world's morale would be greatly encouraged by its passage. On June 4, 1919, Congress passed the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, sending the vote for ratification to the states. Although Georgia rejected the proposed amendment, it received the necessary number of votes and was officially ratified on August 18, 1920. Because the Georgia legislature did not pass an enabling act to immediately allow voting, Georgia women missed the 1920 presidential election and remained unable to vote until 1922. Even after that, many women continued to feel uneasy about stepping into the political sphere. During the 1923 local elections, only 1,300 of the possible 5,000 qualified women registered to vote, and barely half of that number actually voted. It was not until 1980 that women would vote in elections in at least the same number as men. With nearly 21,000 registered women voters in Troup County today, women's suffrage is an often forgotten fragment of our local history. To learn more about voting in LaGrange, visit Legacy Museum on Main. This has been a brief moment in LaGrange's history.